Few know that the true battlefield for abundance is not in circumstances, but rather in the heart. This is no coincidence. When you clamor for abundance, you may be, inadvertently, blocking divine providence with attitudes you do not perceive. Archangel Michael revealed that it is fundamental to be attentive to one's internal posture, for it is that which determines the flow of blessings you can receive. Stop everything now and listen carefully. This is a message destined for you, a spiritual warning that, if embraced, could transform your year. But if ignored, it can leave you at the mercy of invisible forces that undermine your peace and prosperity. I will show you 4 attitudes, and the 4th seems like prudence, but it destroys abundance. At this instant, an urgency settles in the air. Feel the presence of Miguel, the Príncipe da Milicia Celeste, who observes every move you make. He is not here to bring fleeting relief. His mission is deeper. He is the guardian who intercedes for those who are willing to listen, who open themselves to transformation. Each of us is called to a commitment to truth, and that truth is that your thoughts and attitudes have the power to shape your reality. When you clamor for abundance without recognizing the gifts you already possess, an invisible barrier rises between you and the blessings you desire. The warning is clear. Negligence in perceiving the small daily gifts can create a shadow that obscures the light of prosperity. Are you prepared to listen? This message is not for everyone. It is for those who seek genuine change. It is for you who are tired of living in a cycle of scarcity. What do you do with this information? You can choose to remain in ignorance, allowing invisible forces to undermine your peace, or you can accept this revelation and transform it into action. Imagine the scene. You find yourself at a crossroads, where every choice reverberates in the fabric of your life. What is at stake is much more than money or possessions. It is the peace you seek, the joy you long for. Miguel, in his wisdom, tells you that the true fight begins within you. He is the voice that warns before the fall, the shield that protects your heart from the poisons of comparison and ingratitude. Listen carefully, for there is something that can be lost if you do not act. Feel the urgency of this revelation. With each passing day, the opportunity to cultivate a grateful spirit dissipates, and the possibility of receiving more blessings becomes more distant. Do not let the darkness of uncertainty and dissatisfaction dominate your life. The choice is yours. You can open your heart to the abundance that is already around you, or continue to fight on a battlefield that does not exist. The decision is before you. Embrace this message, or let it pass unnoticed. The forces of the invisible are always in motion, and the question that remains is, are you attentive? Are you willing to allow Miguel to guide you on this path? He is ready to intercede for you, but it is necessary that you do your part. Be attentive to your attitudes, for they have the power to open or close doors. And so, with this clear warning, you are invited to look within, to prepare for a new journey that can transform not only your year, but your entire life. Miguel does not come here to offer fleeting motivation. He brings a message of posture, something that transcends mere incentivization. He is the defender who raises a shield against the darkness and teaches us about the discernment of the invisible. He who reveals the subtleties that distance us from abundance. When you find yourself in constant comparison, thinking that God made a mistake with you, it is Miguel himself who rises as a witness of the invisible, warning of the dangers of this thought. Miguel's voice is one that is always lurking, ready to warn before you fall into the trap of ingratitude disguised as ambition. This is a spiritual fight that should not be underestimated. It is a confrontation against the darkness that aims to steal your peace and prosperity. At this exact moment, the Príncipe da Milicia Celeste is present, calling you to awaken. He is the one who observes the subtleties of your soul, who sees beyond everyday words and gestures. He knows the fears that dwell in your heart, the insecurities that can transform abundance into scarcity. And that is why he places himself as a lighthouse, illuminating the path for those willing to listen and obey. His presence is a constant reminder that the battle is ongoing, and that every decision of yours is a step towards light or darkness. Miguel brings with him the wisdom of the ages, with knowledge that transcends time and space. When he speaks, He does not offer only words. He offers protection. He is the shield that can armor your soul against the onslaughts of darkness, those invisible forces that feed on comparison, ingratitude, and self-sabotage. He does not want you to fall into the traps that the world presents, where the constant evaluation of oneself in relation to others becomes a prison, a cell where true abundance cannot enter. When you find yourself in a cycle of comparison, remember that this is a subtle but devastating trap. Comparison generates dissatisfaction, and dissatisfaction generates ingratitude. Miguel observes and he listens to the pleas of your heart. He knows that often you feel undervalued, as if the blessings you receive are insufficient. It is at this moment that your voice becomes weaker and the light of gratitude begins to fade. The trap of comparison transforms into a downward spiral. The more you compare yourself, the further you move away from your true essence. And here is the crucial truth. The power of choice is in your hands. Miguel, as your defender, offers you the opportunity to break this cycle. He does not wish for you to live in a constant internal battle, where your worth is measured by the prosperity of others. There is no gain in competing over what your neighbor possesses. True abundance is a state of mind, an internal posture that must be cultivated with great care and love. The discernment that Miguel brings is fundamental for your protection. He is the guardian of souls in danger, the one who sees dangers that human eyes cannot perceive. He wants you to develop this ability to discern, to identify the voices that pull you away from peace and prosperity. Learn to listen to the voice that echoes within you, the one that calls you to gratitude, to the recognition of blessings already received. This voice is the key to opening the doors of abundance. Furthermore, the spiritual fight that Miguel faces on behalf of each of us is not a battle of power, but a battle of love. He stands as a defender, not only against external forces, but also against the internal insecurities that can undermine your spirit. When you feel weak, when the darkness seems stronger, remember that Miguel is by your side, ready to strengthen your faith and renew your hope. Therefore, in this moment of reflection, ask yourself, how can I cultivate this posture of gratitude and discernment in my life? Miguel does not offer ready answers, but he invites you to search within yourself. He exhorts you to create a sacred space in your heart where abundance can flourish, where comparison has no place, and where gratitude becomes a daily practice. If you are willing to listen, Miguel will become your guide, your defender, your friend. He promises to be by your side, not just as a distant figure, but as a living presence that accompanies you every step. The journey will not be easy, but the rewards are eternal. And above all, remember that you are not alone in this battle. Miguel and the celestial hosts are always ready to intercede for you, but the choice to open your heart and allow the light to enter is yours alone. Are you prepared for this transformation? Are you ready to embrace Miguel's message and allow it to change your life? What are, then, the 4 attitudes that destroy your abundance? Follow along, because the next point is always more serious, and the 4th seems like prudence, but it is devastating. Attitude 1. Ingratitude disguised as ambition. The source does not dry up, but the container leaks. Attitude 2. Constant comparison. God made a mistake with me, creates an abyss, and dries up peace. Attitude 3. Prudent self-sabotage, refined victimhood. You retreat out of fear and call it caution. Attitude 4. Anxiety that becomes a cult. The mind becomes an altar of urgency, and rest disappears. They connect. And remember, when you compete with God's plan, you start to lose peace even before losing money. If you keep listening, I promise one thing. In the end, you will recognize which door was open without realizing it. It's not superstition, it's posture, and posture changes destiny. While I speak, imagine your turning point. The table, the toast, the cell phone, the silence after the fireworks. In each scene, a decision. And in each decision, a flow opens or closes. Inward, not outward, now. Attitude 1. Ingratitude disguised as ambition. Let's start with ingratitude disguised as ambition. How many times have you found yourself wanting more, without recognizing the blessings you already have in your life? This attitude is like a poison that weakens the soul. Miguel observes with sadness those who cannot see the gifts that surround them. and instead of giving thanks, only clamor for more. Ambition itself is not a problem. The problem arises when it becomes a curtain that obscures your view of what is already abundant. You place yourself in a position of scarcity, closing yourself off from the generosity of the universe. A change of perspective is necessary. Gratitude must be a constant state, not an occasional act. It is necessary to cultivate a heart that recognizes the richness of small things, for they are what pave the way for great blessings. Attitude 2, constant comparison. Moving on, we find constant comparison, that treacherous shadow that can corrode your peace. It is a poison that whispers in your ear, feeding the idea that you are not enough. Miguel sees the pain this causes and wishes for you to realize that every human being is unique, with their own journey and purpose. When you compare yourself, you are not just devaluing your achievements. You are placing yourself in a cycle of dissatisfaction that distances you from your true essence. Comparison transforms your gaze into a distorted mirror, reflecting only scarcity and not the abundance that resides within you. The lack of contentment in your life does not come from what you do not have, but from the inability to see the beauty of what is already present. Attitude 3, prudent self-sabotage, refined victimhood. The third attitude is refined victimhood and prudent self-sabotage. You see yourself as a victim of circumstances, as if you had no power over your life. This mindset creates a vicious cycle where you feel trapped, as if you were at the mercy of external forces. Miguel wants you to understand that this approach is not only limiting, it is destructive. By placing yourself as a victim, you relinquish your power, casting aside the ability to shape your reality. Self-sabotage, on the other hand, arises as a defense mechanism. You make decisions that seem safe, but are actually anchored in fear. Every choice you make must be an affirmation of life, not an escape from pain. It is time to replace these attitudes with a new perspective. Attitude 4, anxiety that becomes a cult, the most dangerous. Now, the point that almost no one recognizes as destructive, anxiety disguised as responsibility. At the turn of the year, you may offer the first thought to fear and the last to control. Miguel sees you when the house is quiet, and yet your chest races. You feed bad scenarios and call this prudence. Ask yourself, who governs your heart, faith or urgency? The question is, are you willing to free yourself from these invisible chains? Miguel is here to guide you in this transition. He invites you to reflect on these attitudes and to consider what they have cost you in your life. Ingratitude, comparison, and self-sabotage are obstacles that you can overcome. But for that, a commitment to transformation will be necessary. It is time to open your eyes and recognize that every thought, every attitude, has a profound impact on your reality. Miguel's message is clear. By recognizing these traps, you begin a path of liberation. Start small, but start. Change the way you see yourself in relation to others. Practice gratitude daily, even in small things. By doing so, you begin to change the energy around you, opening yourself to the abundance that God wishes to share with you. The next step is to recognize that your life should not be measured by the ruler of others, but by the light that shines within you. Remember, you are a being of light, created to live in abundance, and by embracing this truth, you become a channel for divine generosity. The journey may not be easy, but the rewards are eternal. And above all, remember that you are not alone in this battle. Miguel and the celestial hosts are always ready to intercede for you, but the choice to open your heart and allow the light to enter is yours alone. Now, are you prepared to open your heart and let the light of truth enter? Are you willing to break the chains that bind you to scarcity and embrace the abundance that is your divine right? Now, reflect on your own heart. Have you ever found yourself feeling that the success of others is a threat to your own worth? What open doors have you allowed to enter? Ask yourself, how has comparison corroded your joy? This silent pain you carry can be an invisible barrier to abundance. Do you see yourself in a cycle of self-sabotage, making decisions that, although they seem prudent, are anchored in fear and insecurity? It is time to identify these invisible chains that bind you. The idea of measuring your life by the ruler of others only brings discontentment and distances you from the true mission that should occupy your heart. Are you willing to face this truth? The battle begins when you allow yourself to doubt your worth. Every time you look at someone's success and feel a tightness in your chest, you only reinforce a narrative of scarcity that does not belong to you. Miguel observes this struggle and wishes for you to understand that your journey is unique and sacred. No comparison can establish a real value about who you are. The achievements of others illuminate paths, but they should not extinguish the light that shines within you. This light is the divine spark that was planted in your heart, and it is your duty to nurture it. However, habits of comparison are like open doors that allow the entry of negative energies and destructive thoughts. You become vulnerable to the poison of comparison, which subtly settles in, corroding your confidence and your peace. Ask yourself, what prevents me from celebrating the achievements of others instead of seeing them as threats? If you are not willing to recognize what others have achieved, how can you open your own path to abundance? This is a key that many ignore, but Miguel brings it to you. And what if comparison is just the surface of a deeper problem? What do you truly feel when you see yourself in relation to others? Often this pain that arises is a result of insecurities you have not addressed. When you compare yourself, you are shouting an internal need for validation, a desire to be seen and valued. It is there that self-sabotage insinuates itself, disguised as prudence. You may think you are protecting yourself by minimizing your own achievements, but in reality you are imprisoning yourself in a cycle of mediocrity. Miguel's voice echoes, warning, do not allow yourself to be a hostage to your insecurities. Now imagine yourself looking forward. You have the option to close your eyes and continue in this cycle of comparison and pain, or open your gaze and see the vast tapestry of your life, with all the colors and textures that compose it. Every experience, every challenge, and every victory is a vital part of your journey. Miguel wants you to see this clearly. He wants you to understand that the true mission of your life is not to compete, but to grow and flourish in your individuality. If you feel lost in this sea of insecurities, remember that Miguel's light is always there, ready to guide you. He does not wish for you to feel alone or powerless. He invites you to connect with your essence, to seek what it truly means to be abundant. True abundance comes from the ability to recognize and value who you are. It is a recognition that you are already enough, exactly as you are. The open doors you allow into your life must be of gratitude and love. Begin to cultivate relationships that reaffirm your worth and your uniqueness. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your journey and who are willing to walk alongside you. This is a fundamental aspect of abundance. Community. Miguel is the guardian of harmonious relationships, and he wants you to make space for true connection. By doing so, you will begin to perceive that abundance is not a solitary state, but a shared celebration. The time to act is now. Commit to recognizing and healing your insecurities. Engage in deep reflection. Write about your feelings regarding the achievements of others. Ask yourself, how can I transform this comparison into inspiration? What can I learn from these experiences? Let Miguel illuminate your path, helping you transform the poison of comparison into an elixir of gratitude. By making these changes, you will begin to experience enormous relief. The pressure you once felt will dissipate, giving way to a space of peace and contentment. By allowing Miguel into your life, you will become a vehicle for the abundance that has always been within your reach. The truth is that you are worthy of everything you desire. Now that the darkness has been revealed, it is time to bring forth the light that resides in you. Are you ready to free yourself from these invisible chains and embrace the abundance that is your divine right? This is a moment of internal battle. Your soul is in dispute, and time is urgent. Today it is up to you to decide. Remain in the shadow of comparison or seek the light of gratitude. Remember, it's not just about money, it's about peace and contentment. Before it's too late, you must make a choice. The urgency cannot be ignored. Every small decision counts. Do not let the fear of losing prevent you from winning. The battle is spiritual, and every attitude counts in building a life of abundance. May God's plan prevail over your will. Only then will you find true prosperity. When you find yourself at this crossroads, you can feel the weight of the decision. What is truly at stake? It is not just your financial success, but your inner peace. Imagine the scene. You are on a battlefield where invisible forces move around you, trying to divert you from the path of light. Miguel is by your side, armed with the sword of truth and the shield of faith, ready to protect you from any attack that may arise. But victory does not depend only on him. It depends on your willingness to fight against the shadows that inhabit your spirit. Comparison and ingratitude are powerful enemies. They can whisper in your ear that you are not enough, that what you have is not enough. They disguise themselves as advice and realism, but in truth, they are traps that undermine your ability to see the abundance that already exists in your life. Miguel observes this struggle and calls for you not to face it alone. He knows that the battle is within you, and it is your choice to act that will make the difference. The urgency of this moment cannot be underestimated. Do not wait for life to pass while you feel imprisoned by your insecurities. Time is not an ally of procrastination. Today is the day you must rise and declare that you will no longer allow yourself to be defined by comparison. It is here that the true fight begins, by recognizing that you have the power to shape your reality. Miguel is here to remind you that true strength resides not in resistance to what others have, but in the celebration of what you are. So, think about the consequences of your daily choices. Every thought of comparison, every gesture of ingratitude, is a small step that distances you from your true essence. And as you distance yourself, the forces of the invisible take advantage to sow doubt and insecurity in your heart. The spiritual battle that unfolds is not a fight of brute force. It is a fight for your soul, for your peace. Are you willing to let these forces win, or will you rise and fight? Imagine Miguel by your side, not just as a protector, but as a mentor. He knows that the path can be difficult, but he is there to guide you every step of the way. He not only offers protection, he offers wisdom. And that wisdom is simple. The path to abundance is paved with gratitude. You must choose to see the good in every situation, even in adversities. By doing so, you begin to open doors that were previously closed. If you feel lost, ask yourself, what am I allowing into my life? What thoughts am I feeding? What you allow into your heart will shape your reality. Miguel gives you the key to this transformation. Gratitude is the door that leads to abundance. By cultivating a grateful spirit, you create a space where light can enter and dissipate the shadows. The spiritual battle you face requires a radical decision. It is time to commit to a new mindset. Every day, upon waking, make the choice to be grateful. Recognize what you have, even if you are still seeking more. Remember that abundance is not just about what you possess, but about how you perceive the world around you. By changing your perspective, you change your reality. And so Miguel invites you to make this decision now. Do not wait for an external miracle. The true miracle is already within you. Allow yourself to be guided by this inner light and let the truth prevail. The path will not be easy, but the reward is eternal. The battle can be intense, but victory is reserved for those who choose to fight. At this moment, declare in your heart, I choose gratitude. I close the doors to comparison. I claim the abundance that is my divine right. May this declaration resonate in every fiber of your being, for it is the first step towards freedom and true prosperity. Now be prepared to embrace the transformation that is to come. The decision is yours, and Miguel is here, ready to fight by your side. Are you ready for this battle? Are you willing to rise and claim your abundance? It is time for correction. Gratitude must be concrete. Establish 3 daily items for which you are grateful. Build your own mission, free from comparison. Small but consistent decisions are more powerful than fleeting euphoria. Now, you must make a declaration. So Miguel, cut comparison and install vigilant contentment in my heart. Comment: I stop competing. True abundance begins with an internal choice. The law is simple. What you tolerate at the beginning dominates in the end. May this new year bring not only riches but a life full of peace and joy. You are about to enter a new phase. Miguel awaits your decision. To close internal doors and make space for peace, order, and prosperity. Every morning, write 3 items of gratitude, simple and concrete. This re-educates your gaze and keeps the flow open. Build your own mission without comparison. Ask yourself what you want, choose a possible step, and move forward. The small decisions you make daily have a powerful impact. Do not underestimate the strength of a simple act of gratitude or a positive thought. Miguel wants you to understand that transformation begins within you. It is necessary to declare aloud, "I stop competing." By doing so, you are invoking Miguel, calling his strength and protection to cut the chains of comparison that bind you. This is a conscious choice that you must reaffirm in your life. The energy you put into your intentions creates the foundations for the abundance that will arrive. When you decide to stop competing, you free yourself from an unnecessary burden. Comparison consumes your energy and prevents you from seeing the opportunities that are before you. Instead of looking at the success of others with envy or doubt, choose to see it as an inspiration. Every achievement of others is proof that abundance is possible. Let this resonate in your heart. By making this change in mindset, something extraordinary happens. You begin to attract good things into your life. The doors that were previously closed now open, allowing the light of abundance to enter. It is as if Miguel were by your side, guiding every step, helping you to see the divine in every moment of your life. With every small gesture of gratitude, you build a safe path that leads you to the realization of your dreams. When you dedicate yourself to this practice, your life begins to fill with new possibilities. The insecurities that once dominated you begin to dissipate, and you will become a beacon of light for those around you. They will feel your transformation, and thus will also be inspired to seek their own abundance. And by sharing your light, you fulfill an even greater mission. It is important to remember that abundance is not necessarily about material wealth. True abundance is a feeling of peace, love, and contentment that springs from within you. Miguel wants you to remember this with every step you take. By cultivating gratitude and releasing comparison, you open yourself to the unconditional love that is your divine right. Now more than ever, it is time to trust in this process. The journey of transformation is not a straight line. It has its curves and detours. But when you remain firm in your practice of gratitude and refuse to compete, you are taking significant steps in the right direction. With every obstacle you face, be sure that Miguel is by your side, guiding you, protecting you, and reminding you of your true essence. In this new year, make a commitment to yourself. Commit to being faithful to your journey, to valuing your achievements, and to celebrating the abundance that already dwells in your heart. By doing so, you not only transform your life, but also become a channel for the transformation of the world around you. The light you emanate will be a testament to the victory of abundance over scarcity. So, take a deep breath and let this new phase begin. True abundance is yours, and Miguel is here, ready to guide you in every step of this sacred journey. Start this new year with the certainty that you are worthy of all the blessings that are to come. May peace, joy, and abundance be your constant companions. And so you bid farewell to one cycle and welcome a new beginning. May Miguel's light shine brightly in your life, guiding you to the full realization of your dreams and true happiness. Are you ready to begin this journey? Thank you for sharing this sacred moment. May abundance accompany you,